The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus said to the 12, "Fear no one. Nothing is concealed that will not be revealed, nor secret that will not be known. What I say to you in the darkness, speak in the light. What you hear whispered, proclaim on the housetops. And do not be afraid of those who kill the body, but cannot kill the soul. Rather be afraid of the one who can destroy both soul and body in Gehenna. Are not 2 sparrows sold for a small coin? Yet not one of them falls to the ground without your Father's knowledge. Even all the hairs of your head are counted. So do not be afraid. You are worth more than many sparrows. Everyone who acknowledges me before others, I will acknowledge before my heavenly Father. But whoever denies me before others, I will deny before my heavenly Father." The Gospel of the Lord. Praise to you, Lord.
Good evening. How are you? I'm good. My dear friends, do not be afraid. We had staff meeting last Wednesday, and in one of these sections, Mike has to articulate, Mike Reader, our pastor, has to articulate the minds and the hearts of everyone by saying that everyone is heartbroken. And so that's why I say, do not be afraid. It's interesting that these words, do not be afraid, comes from the gospel of today. And as each and every one of us is trying to figure out a whole lot of passions and love that has existed between 2 of us. It is also important that we know that each and every one of us is called to participate in that universal mandate to preach the gospel, and we call it building the city of God through our loving service and works of mercy. Sometimes, especially at the end of the masses, I usually to say thank you, and thank you. So 3 thank yous. And today I want to repeat those 3 thank yous in a context of preaching the gospel and building the city of God. You can see the fear that exists with the people, especially the first reading with Jeremiah, when he's preaching the gospel, when he has to face the reality and the practical nature of the gospel, where when he is preaching the gospel, all of a sudden his friends could turn against him, and that could be heartbroken. That means he could not be willingly achieve whatever he desires. And we saw in the gospel when Jesus was handling the apostles or disciples when he was about to leave, and so they were afraid, and he had to reassure them that they do not need to be afraid because of the fact that he is with them. And he has to tell them that 3 times to reassure them there's nothing to fear. That whatever he has told them to do and to reach to the people, they have to say that to the top roof. So be outspoken wherever you are. Do not be afraid. They were afraid of dying or getting mixed up in the whole show of preaching the gospel, and he has to remind them again, do not be afraid for anyone who's going to kill the body, even the soul. And for the third time, he has to learn them again and say, do not be afraid that your heads are counted. So nothing is going to miss. That means God is with you. And so in the first gratitude, in the first thank you, I say thank you to God who has allowed me, by the virtue of the privileged priesthood, to come all the way from Nigeria to preach the gospel with you. I said with you because we are building the city of God and the church is one everywhere. The second thank you goes to you because you have actually helped me through my loving service and works of mercy to preach the gospel with you as we build the city of God. You were very helpful. What a wonderful set of people. When I was coming here, I was filled with fears. The fear of unknown. I left my family. Where I was almost the lord of everybody. And the priesthood is so revered in Nigeria that when a priest walks along the city, everybody comes out to say hi. Then I know also what it could be in preaching the gospel in a foreign land where you're not known. So I came with a lot of fears. Beside my fears also, it cannot be taken away. I have a very wonderful and the most beautiful accent of the whole world. But then, unfortunately, you need to tune in and listen very attentively to understand me. These were my fears. Cultural barriers and cultural shocks. Remember, when I said the word BS, I was thinking everything is fine. I have told you one time ago, when I have to put cheese and bread in the toast, that will tell you how different my culture has been. But you never allowed those fears to surface. You took me home, you took me like a family, you motivated me by your word of support, and you made me feel very much received from the first day. Remember the Deacon time when I came? That will now tell you my fear, because I want to making part. Now you know that I don't know how to swim. You can now understand what it took me to get into the Deacon tank. But then you accepted me, so I want to thank you for that. The third thank you is the thank you to each and every one of us for continuing to preach the gospel and building the city of God. I'm not moving. This is my house. Apart from the fact this is the house of God, wherever, let me tell you something. I'm participating in the missionary mandate of the whole church. And the priest is welcomed everywhere in the whole world. The Irish priests that came to Nigeria made every place they went home. But then in my own case, I'm not moving from St. Joseph. Oh, it is important to know that I'm no more going to Shoran, but now I'm going to St. Joseph Church at Church Street, Kings Park. Yeah, that's where I'm going. That will let you know that St. Joseph's Church and St. Joseph is still with me. So I'm not leaving. Yeah. This is where I was breastfed. This is where I taught how to walk. This is where I taught how to grow. This is where I taught how to feed. This is where I taught everything like a baby. And so this is my family. As an international priest, you're allowed to have one parish as your resident parish. I don't have anyone except where I was bred, and this is St. Joseph's Church. And so in that case, my dear wonderful friends, so I'm not leaving, I'm just going to St. Joseph Church in Church Street just to continue to build the city of God. So thank you for continuing to build that city of God. You can see that nothing gonna stop you. If I could come from Nigeria with all my fears, with all the cultural barriers, with all the cultural shocks, with all kinds of differences, with my wonderful accent, and I'm living, and you're heartbroken within those short time, COVID took about 2 years after that. So we have barely a year and 2 years and a half to have a way of preaching the gospel. And everyone felt connected. That means nothing can ever stop you. And how did I do that? I don't know. Except I was myself. And I have been myself from the beginning to now, and even till tomorrow or till Wednesday when I leave. I'm not going to change a bit. And so, my dear friends, thank you. Thank you. And thank you.